Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. We have the Apex 445B. Now this is XLR connection, so you will need a mixing board or a interface of some sort in order to use this on your computer. And there's the backside of our box. And of course it comes with a really nice case to transport it in should you need to do that. Anyways, so, seeing as the MV88 Plus was such a huge bust, also costs way more money than this does. And I don't know why they marked it used for because this thing was like factory sealed inside. So, hey, I'm not complaining. But 200 bucks is what it sells for new, Canadian obviously, Long McQuaid. And it has, just go over some of the features on this thing. You got 3 selectable polar patterns. One of which, of course, it's already preset at, and that's for omnidirectional, captures all the sound in the room. Low frequency roll off, 10 minus 10 dB pad switch if you need to. Wide dynamic range and full frequency response, ideal for studio applications, rugged enough for live sound reinforcement. Shockproof mount as well, or shock mount included, they call it, not shockproof, but shock mount. Anyways, this is a condenser microphone. It is also phantom powered. So you're definitely going to need phantom power turned on your mixer or your interface. Now, I have a mixer hooked into my interface. So you have to activate the phantom power at the mixer. Okay. At the interface side, it's not required if you're using a mixer already into your interface like I do. But if all you have is an interface, then yeah, you're going to have to activate the phantom power on that interface in order for this thing to run. So, without further ado, we are going to do a test, and it has to be one of my own songs, which many of you are familiar with, because it's actually the one that is plugged into my brain the most at the moment. And I need to stay out of trouble with YouTube, obviously, too, so I have to play my own stuff. But we're going to do a recording test for you. I still need to have that room mic to pick up that natural sound of the room environment, which another YouTuber actually got on recently on one of my videos and really appreciates the fact that, hey, you're the first person I've seen that actually does this the way it needs to be done kind of thing, right? Like it gives me the natural sound of a room, which is great. And I thought, hey, thanks for the compliment, man. Like, dude, that's awesome. Thank you. All right, so I have to stop the video here, switch over to my other gear. We'll fire things back up, and of course, change the angle of the camera so you can also see the mic too, and how I have it set up in here. All right, there you go. All right, guys, we are set up, and I'm gonna stand approximately plus or minus about 3 feet from the microphone here. And as you can see, it's set up like really up high with my boom mic stand, and it's facing upside down as well. So. Anyways, let's do this. I think this is gonna be fun. Okay, so now I have a touch of reverb on this. I'm going to actually do this again and add a little bit more reverb. But the guitar also, by the way, is not plugged in. This is straight out. Okay, and I've done my own testing already previous, And I've been very impressed with this mic. It's really nice. Anyways, let me add some more reverb here. Just because we can. And I want to see how adding a bit more is going to change things. Alright, so I'm going to turn the reverb back down a little bit. And just to do some just straight out playing, just messing around with some chords, just so you get an idea of, you know, just general, without voice, you know, see how it's going to work. Okay, so that's set up on omnidirectional. So let's do a test now with the figure 8, which picks up front and back but negates sides. And now let's go to the other pattern that's listed here. And oh. Missed it. There we go. I wanna serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be So I decided to move around to see how it affects the sound when you're behind it. Anyways, so that kind of concludes the demo section of this. All right, guys. So I went back and I rechecked the footage, obviously, before doing this section, and definitely got to get a little bit closer to the mic to get a little bit more of the vocals out there. So I think that before we give a final verdict, we need to do one more test because there's also one other little piece of equipment we didn't attach to it, and that is like the windsock sponge thingy they give you to, avoid those explosions and stuff. And I've got that installed on there now. The other thing that they give you, other things, they give you a reduction adapter. If you have a different type of thread system for screwing this into. And of course they do give you 2 extra spare O-rings, because there's 4 of these O-rings actually that hold that mic in there. That's the only thing holding that thing into that ring, is just some really super tight O-rings. And don't worry, there's no danger of it falling down or out. But if you ever do break one of those O-rings, you do have some spares. And I'd probably say, in the long haul, get a few more spares. You can easily just take one of these to your local hardware store, get the exact same thing, and then you've got bunches of spares in case you ever wear it. Because rubber doesn't last forever, okay? Let's face it, it does disintegrate someday. The other thing that's in the case was also a carry pouch for the mic. So why we need that if they give us this really nice case, I have no idea. But this is the case here, opened up, and it's got some pretty good heavy duty, lock switches on it. So, it's good to go. The manual is really not what I would call a manual. It is probably the most useless manual I've seen ever, because it doesn't tell you exactly what all these patterns are about. And on the low cut filter, it doesn't tell you which direction is which. You've got to take your best guess on the sound that you hear, which sounds better to you, right? Now, for this last test, I am going to be leaving this on the all the way around, like the Omni setting. So it's all the way around the circle, because that's the way I'm going to need it in here anyways. So let's go back and do our last test and see how much difference there is with that windsock on there, as well as, or call it a pop filter, cheap version, right? And let's get a little bit closer to the mic too, right? Okay, so instant for you. All right, guys, we got one final test here, and what I've done is I've actually lowered the boom just a little bit, about 3 inches, and got it more vertical this way. And I'm going to stand closer this time, and we're going to see how well it does this way. I wanna serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I wanna make the lame to walk and the blind to see. Open up the prison doors and set the captives free. Oh Lord, I want to be like Jesus in every way. I wanna walk on water, I wanna split the sea. I wanna move a mountain, turn it upside down, and make it spin around and around, and make it spin around and around. Okay, guys, so you've heard it all, you've seen it all. I think it's worth the $200 Canadian for this mic. It is more than going to be adequate for everything that I need to do for future videos for you guys, especially for capturing that, natural sound of the room. Okay. I never mess with things like EQ. It's actually set at, everything is at 12 o'clock. So my vocals went in, my guitar went in. EQ is like I said, bass, mid, treble, all 12 o'clock. A little bit of reverb on there because you kind of need that, especially for vocals. But yeah, it's I think it's wonderful. This thing far surpasses the MV88 Plus, which was more expensive and actually quite lousy for pickup in comparison. Although at a distance, it did okay as far as balancing out, voice and guitar. It just didn't have any real proper gain to it, even with the gain cranked to 75%. Not to mention other hassles with it, and yeah, it can't plug direct into a mixing board where this does, which is actually better. And being a condenser mic that's also phantom powered, awesome. Just an outstanding mic, I think, for the money. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get some really good stuff. And this thing, I believe, is definitely proof of that. In my opinion, I think final test that I did at the end was actually the best out of all of them. For balancing out the mix, volume levels, everything was just really nice and spot on for just going straight in. And like I said, the guitar was not even plugged into the system. The mic picked up my guitar, picked up my vocals. I got other experimenting I want to do as far as, bringing my studio chair in here and being able to sit down and play, because I'm not used to actually standing up and playing with an acoustic. It's something that's hard on my back. So even at church, I sit down and play on a stool that I sit on, and it's just, to me, more comfortable to sit and play. And it's what I'm used to, and I do have a bad back either way. So, but standing up and playing, I think I did pretty good. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the whole nine. And but I think it deserves a 4.5 out of 5 in my opinion, and definitely worth buying. Link will be in the description box below if you live in Canada, Long McQuaid. If you're not in Canada, there's a lot of dealers everywhere around the world that deal Apex equipment. So try one out for yourself, see how it works for you. As far as I'm concerned, though, as far as the 3 patterns go for the mic, the omnidirectional is actually the one that works best for everything that I want to do and need to do. I was not overly impressed with the figure 8 or the other pattern. It just doesn't pick up quite the way I would want it to be able to do. But everybody's going to have different needs. So that's why I'm also not dinging any points on the other patterns, because everybody will have different requirements with this mic. Or with any mic that has polar pattern selectability. Mine is chosen for Omnio because that's what I need in here, and man, it works really sweet. Anyways, thanks so much for watching and staying tuned, and definitely catch you guys in the next video. We got some more tech stuff on the way, so stay tuned. All right, see ya.